Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, Editorial Director at TigerFitness.com and Muscle and Brawn Nutrition CEO. Guys, Q&A. I got one big long question today from Fahim. He's got about 7 questions, so I'm just going to address these questions in one video, but stay tuned. There's a lot of good advice coming in this video. So, guys, before I get into his questions, if I answer your question in a Q&A video and you'd like a copy of my book, Massive Iron, check it out. There's a link to my email below. You can hit me up. I'll send you a free copy of my book, No Questions Asked. Guys, if you want a question featured in my Q&A video, just check out the link below. There's a thread. It takes 2 seconds to register. Maybe not 2 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Post up your questions. I answer every question posted. The best ones I turn into a Q&A video like this. So, let's get into the questions today. Fahim says, and that's his questions right there. It's me again. I have given you my lifting stats last week and asked some questions about moving on to a hybrid program from Strong Lifts. You recommended on my strength gains saying that you'd classify me as a late beginner or early intermediate. I went to the gym the other day and realized something. I happen to be the only one there who doesn't use lifting belts. I find your detailed answers extremely helpful, so I will request you to explain some things to me, and they are as follows. How important are lifting belts for people who are trying to increase their squat, deadlift, etc.? Now, Fahim, that's a very good question. I trained for, I don't use lifting belts. I never have. The only time I put them on is at powerlifting meets when I do a meet. My first meet, in fact, I didn't even use a lifting belt. Now, I think your first several years of training, I would probably work on form and not train with a lifting belt. There's no need, I would say, during the first couple of years. Now, once you get to that intermediate level, it's probably, and your strength levels are increasing, it's probably a good idea to try a lifting belt, and not just one of these cruddy, crappy bro lifting belts, but get a good lifting belt, like 10 millimeter thickness, one that is, you know, 70, 100 bucks, one that is custom designed for your waist, custom built for you, and it is the same thickness all the way around, like a powerlifting belt. If you're going to invest in a belt, get something good. But in those intermediate years, I would definitely try a belt. Is it a necessity? No. But if you're after as much strength as possible in the squat and deadlift, it sure helps to try a belt. You'll learn to push against that belt. It'll help you brace that core. It can provide more stability, so it's definitely worth a try. Now, with that said, people are probably going to ask why I don't use them. The simple answer is I've lifted for almost 30 years now without them. I've learned to brace my core, and I've learned to brace my upper body during squats and deadlifts, and I simply don't like them because of that. I've always trained without them, and I've learned to brace my core and my lower back without them. So it's just a personal thing. So it's kind of a, you know, try them, see if you like them, but, you know, don't feel like you need a belt, you know, during your first couple of years of training. After that, they're definitely worth a try. You know, try them out. It can take a lot of time to learn to lift with a belt, so don't get frustrated. Maybe use it during your warm-up sets, and if you don't feel comfortable, you don't want to mess up anything during your heavy sets. You don't want to feel uncomfortable during your heavy sets. So if you want to learn to use a belt, warm up with that belt on. If it still feels awkward or uncomfortable when you get to your heavy sets, just take it off and just give that a try. Give that a good run for 6 to 8 months and see what happens. Now, Fahim says, at the stage I'm at now in my lifting life, is such an accessory, a belt, even necessary? Probably not now, but within the next year, you should probably start saving up for a good one. Look on powerlifting sites, you know, and start, you know, have something you want to buy Plan it out. Have something you want to buy, save up the money. In about a year from now, I would probably pull the trigger and get one. He goes on to say, since I want to get as strong as I can, have I wasted my time thus far by not utilizing the belt? No, absolutely not. Again, I've lifted for 30 years without a belt, and I got close to a 2,000-pound raw total at the age of 46 without a belt. You're not wasting your time without a belt. You're doing exactly what I would do with a trainee, having them lift without a belt for the first couple years. One more question Fahim has on the belts. Would you ever suggest someone who doesn't use belts in general to test their 1-rep max with a belt on? No. I don't want you to just... when you're doing heavy training, I don't want you to adjust form. I don't want you to wear a belt. I don't want you to toss on knee wraps. When you're going for a 1-rep max, I don't want you to throw in a new variable such as belt, knee wraps, wrist wraps, whatever. You need to practice this stuff in training and become comfortable with it before you ever test your 1-rep max with it. When it comes to form adjustments, when I give form adjustments or form tips to people when I'm training them one-on-one, I don't ever want them to try super heavy work with these new form adjustments. I never want to add a variable into training and then have somebody do super strong lifts, very intense lifts with this new variable, whether it's a form tweak, whether it's a belt, whether it's a knee wrap. So no, you got to take some time. Make sure you are completely comfortable with a belt, with knee wraps, with wrist wraps, with a form adjustment before you start training heavy using that adjustment. Now, Fahim goes on. Let me get some more liquid here. Fahim goes on to say, for whatever it's worth, even though I'm doing strong lifts to increase my strength, I do my squats high bar and to near full depth like Olympic lifters. I have tried to learn the low bar squat, but I've gave up because of the injuries became severe, etc. Since I do not give importance to strength so much, do you think I'm heading in the wrong direction with squatting high bar? No, absolutely not. Look, I know low bar squats are pushed, and I know you see a lot of guys in gear using low bar squats. The majority of squatters at powerlifting meets are high bar squats. I'm a high bar squatter. I recommend learning the squat high bar for 3-4 years before you, or at least a couple years, building a base with high bar before you even think about low bar. Look, the Ripito squat, I'm going to be honest here. The Ripito squat teaches guys to squat with their head down and to squat. They end up moving their hips back and pointing their head down before they squat. And I see a lot of Ripito squatters going to the point where their nipples are almost touching their knees in the hole. I don't think, look, there is no magic one way to squat. High bar, low bar, wide stance, narrow stance, etc. I recommend a base with not a wide stance, just a reasonable, moderate stance, and starting with high bars. Low bars, again, most powerlifting meets, most of the guys, the raw lifters, aren't using low bar squats. So high bar squats, despite the propaganda, are the way to go for the first couple years, in my opinion. And you got to understand that low bar squats can push you forward, can put more strain on the lower back, and they might not be right for everybody. There is no magical one way to lift. I am not particularly, I've seen too many low bar squatters during their first couple of years push the low bar squats and just develop real bad habits. So learn the high bar squat, and then as you ease into a low bar squat, understand that they might not be right for your body type, and you might be folding over more in the hole if they're not right for your body type. Well, look, don't be paranoid about sticking with high bar squats. I hate low bar squats. They don't work for my body type. If you look at a picture of my high bar squats, you see I am pretty darn upright. I'm one of the most upright squatters you can get. There's no need to change what isn't broken. In fact, I believe a few of the meets I was at, Eric Lillibridge and the Lillibridges were squatting high bar well over 700, 800, 900 pounds. Now, Fahim says, is there a strength limitation that I should be aware of with high bar squats? No way. No way, not at all. Don't drink the low bar Kool-Aid. They're a perfectly fine way to squat, but they're not the only way to squat. So don't drink the low bar Kool-Aid. Okay. I apologize for writing so much. Nevertheless, I'll be waiting a response. Nope. Hey, look, you guys can send me 1,000 questions. I am glad to help. That is what I love to do. I love lifting. I love help you guys. Even if I answered your guys' questions in 1,000 videos, keep sending the questions. This allows me to help you, train you, and help you reach your goals. So send on in the questions. So guys, that's it for this Q&A. Again, if I answer your questions in a Q&A and you'd like a copy of my book, Massive Iron, just head on over to my email, which is below. Email me and say, I'd like a copy of your book. I'll send it, no questions asked. If you'd like some help, guys, there's a Q&A link below. Post your question in that Q&A link. I answer every question posted. The best questions I turn into Q&A videos. And guys, if you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. If you want to connect with me on social, anything from Instagram to Twitter to Periscope, where you can watch me lift live, all that stuff is below. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.